You are listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall on Realm of the Mist Entertainment.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Breaking the Fourth Wall, the show where we do some interesting interviews with some interesting guests. Today, my guest is Mr. Eric Morris. How are you doing today, Eric?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing pretty well, actually. This is just a little Q&A kind of interview show. Hopefully, you can tell us some good stories and, little gems of knowledge, if you will. So I guess we can start out with the way I always do, and if you wouldn't mind, just kind of, you don't need to give us a whole resume list or anything, but what are some good highlights of things that you've done with your career?
Highlights of things I've done with my career. Well, one of the biggest highlights that I've had in recent times is I was a character in a movie, a feature film that shot up in the North Georgia mountains, and I'm drawing a blank the name of this this production, but it's on my IMDb. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of it, but I had just a supporting role. I play a kind of an angry neighbor, gives the main character a hard time.
Oh wow!
But I was there on set with a couple other people, and this other older gentleman that played the character of my neighbor. He was her father. So, and me and him kind of square off. We have words.
Okay.
That's what the scene was about. And but anyways, in passing, I got to talking with the gentleman who was playing this role, and he's from Los Angeles. And we just more we talked, he just in passing kind of I was talking about some old movies, and somehow the movie Pulp Fiction from the Pulp Fiction movie from the popular one.
Right.
It came up, and he played a character in that one of the most legendary scenes in that movie, the pawn shop scene. When they go down in the basement, there's the gimp in the box with the red ball and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he played the pawn shop owner.
Oh wow.
And, well, I was like, for real? Wow. I just couldn't believe it. And here's why. That scene is legendary, and everybody knows the scene about the gimp in the box and the red ball and all that stuff. It's a very popular scene. It's not just that. What really is important to me, back when that movie first came out, I had my best buddy. His name was David. He had passed away back in 2010, I believe it was. He actually got sick with cancer, and he just couldn't make it. But yeah, man, he was a good guy. But when we were younger, that movie, we used to always joke all the time about that scene after it came out. And my buddy, you have to understand, he was a very funny guy. He was a natural comedian, and if he was still alive today, I have no doubt that he would be on the stage somewhere putting up comedy, shows and doing well.
Yeah.
He was naturally funny. You could be having the worst day of your life and call this guy, and it all of a sudden seemed like it didn't matter.
That's awesome.
So he used to always make fun of the character that Dwayne Whitaker played, the pawn shop owner guy, and the way his expression was in the scene, and just his whole demeanor. We used to have a lot of laughs about it. So actually standing, on a front porch at a cabin up in the North Georgia mountains, and I'm squaring off and having words and looking at this dude in the eye who plays that character was just a really cool thing. Like if my buddy would have been alive today, and I told him about this, he would, it'd be hilarious. He would be very excited for me, and so it made it kind of special. And even though I know it's kind of weird terms, but it's probably the most coolest thing that's happened to me since I've started this journey as an actor.
Yeah, that's a really cool story. That would be amazing to meet somebody that had an impact like that back when you were younger. That'd be amazing.
And I didn't know. I had no idea who this guy was. It was just totally unexpected. And, and I'll say in this industry, I've met a lot of people that I never would have thought I would meet. And, they're just people like you and I. But it's just kind of neat to encounter people that you just seemed untouchable, I guess, at some point. It's it kind of makes it in a way, it kind of takes away a little bit of the excitement or the clout, I guess maybe I should say, that you have if you're not an actor, and then you're talking like, oh my God, I'm standing next to Tom Cruise, or whatever. I mean,
Right.
I don't really get excited about that. It's like, well, that's, okay, whatever. I mean, it's not, to me, it's not a big deal. So it kind of robs you of that excitement. But at the same token, it's very cool to be able to, meet people like this that's done some legendary stuff that everybody's seen at some point on TV.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how it's been since these interviews have started. I've realized not that the magic is lost or anything. Don't get me wrong on that, but it seems the people that I've talked to, I realize they're people too, and they have good stories, and we all share a good laugh. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
So what would you say started you, or what made you want to follow this career choice?
I've always been an artist. Even when I was a little kid, I used to uh, I was a big hand sketch artist. I would draw stuff, and I was pretty good at it, and it just came natural. And I've always seen things, the artistic side of things,
Mm-hmm.
where most people don't. And it's not that I'm, some big, you're not gonna see me on the PBS making any paintings anytime soon. I just, I've always been an artist, and I started playing guitar when I was about 12, and I was really into it. I learned really fast. Became a very good guitarist as a young teen, and kind of came up through the ranks of the entertainment world like that. We had a little punk rock band, and a lot of other young guys would ask me to teach them to play, and they were impressed by me busting out these crazy solos when we were covering some of these hard rock bands that we used to listen to. And so I've always been in entertainment. As I got older, I actually had to grow up, and I got married young and had children young, and I had to get real young. Mm-hmm. So I had to give all that up, and walked away from it for quite a long time. I did get back into it later, playing out at local small gigs, usually by myself, solo acoustic gigs, singing and playing covers, country music or rock and stuff like that. Whatever's cool. Right. I even do a cover of some Prince stuff or whatever. I mean, just anything that people would recognize. I even got one by Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time. It's interesting to hear being like with a voice like mine singing Time After Time. But anyways, so I've always been an artist, and so my son, actually, when he was a little younger, he was a young teenager, and he had an interest in pursuing modeling and acting and that kind of thing. So I was like, yeah, that's great. And so we went and got him an agent, got him some photos. He was a very good-looking kid, and started doing some background work. In Atlanta back then, things were really starting to take off as doing a lot of productions here. Mm-hmm. He was just a lot of background work on some stuff like the Vampire Diaries and things like that. That were shot here at the time. And him being a minor, somebody had to go with him. It was me or my wife. Somebody had to be on set with him. He also did some small independent stuff where he was like a featured extra or whatever. And one of these nights we were inside of an old bar for a movie set for a young up-and-coming director at the time who is now doing some pretty cool stuff. He was shooting a film, and my son was a featured background guy. It was a bar scene. And it was raining really bad that night. A lot of the talent couldn't find the place. We were out there. I was out there trying to help this guy out, putting bright signs up, poster boards that I went and bought from the store for him, trying to get people to where this place is at,
Right.
And a lot of his background people didn't show up. I mean, it's stuff that a lot of young independent filmmakers go through.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
And at the time, I was new. I've never been on a film set. I didn't really know. I'm just thought, damn, this is taking forever. Yeah, but I've learned that that's just the way it is. But anyhow, he asked me if I would fill in as a background guy, and so I did, and didn't know nothing about it. Just kind of like I was another woman there. She let us know what to to act like you're talking and have a conversation, but you're not making any noise, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, we did it for him, and then later on, the director started talking to me. He said, he says, "Hey, man, have you ever done any acting?" I said, "No," and he says, "Well, you should." I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then he says, "You have a very important look," and it kind of struck me as odd. I'm like, what does the hell does that even mean? I mean, an important look. I mean, what are you trying to say, man?
Right.
But I took it as a compliment, and I just moved on. I didn't really do anything with it. My son, he continued to do some more stuff, and he did some auditions and bombed out. And I think he just lost interest in the industry. And he was doing sports in high school, and it just wasn't for him. I think he learned that early on, and I'm glad he did. But
Right.
for me, I kept thinking about that day, that night, and then, but ironically, I went to look at a house. My wife had a physical therapist at the time. She had to have back surgery, so this physical therapist was coming to the house, and I got to talking to her, and her and her husband were looking at a property to purchase, to rehab, to flip. So I went and looked at it for them. I'm also a business owner. I've been in construction my whole life, and so I was just looking at the house, giving them my thoughts about it.
Oh, okay. That's
Her
cool.
husband used, yeah, well, her husband used to be an actor, and he used to live out in Los Angeles, and he actually went to a popular acting studio called the Beverly Hills Playhouse.
Oh, wow.
That's trained at, yeah. So at the time, you could have told me whatever. I had no clue what he was talking about, but I kept asking questions because I had an interest in it. And we got to talking about it. Finally, he's like, "Oh, so you're interested?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." So he suggested that I visit this acting studio that I didn't even know existed, that was nearby, where he taught at once a week. And so I did. And that's when it all started. I started learning about acting, how it's not as easy as it looks. And,
Right.
and I started learning I first started doing background work. And, I learned a lot about how sets work, and also just how much time was wasted, being on set as a background guy. It's made it really tough. But I graduated from that to doing photo double work and stuff like that, which I like that because I get treated like one of the cast. And I did
That's
it on,
cool.
yeah, it was very cool. And then I had a cool scene for an opening scene for the Vampire Diaries, which was really cool. It was, I think it's episode 811, I think. I'm the opening scene. I work with the stunt coordinator. The vampire talks to me and lets me know my employees having sex with my wife on every Wednesday at noon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This particular vampire could read minds. So
Right.
I get mad and I look at my guy, and then next thing you know, you see me grabbing him and I'm slamming him against the glass and he's bleeding everywhere. It's a really cool opening scene. Now,
Wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds awesome.
yeah, check it out. I don't say anything, but I say it with my eyes. But I'm like a background guy. But it was a cool opportunity because I was actually, I'm talking with this vampire guy that's popular on the show. I forget his. I think his name. I think they called him Cage
Mm-hmm.
or Kane or something like that. He was like a very evil vampire, and nice guy, by the way. And I was, had all the other background artists in there doing their scene in the coffee shop, like they're hanging out, getting coffee or whatever. And I'm, on the front. So it was a nice way, it was a very cool thing to do when I was early on as an actor. And I was just blown away to actually get the chance to do that.
That
And
sounds
then,
amazing.
yeah, it was a cool opportunity, man. And then from there, I just kept applying myself, kept training. I mean, took it very serious. I treat it like a business because it is.
Right, right, yeah.
Um, I've done a lot of stuff. I've been very blessed, lucky, and I put in a lot of hard work and made a lot of sacrifices just to get to where I'm at, which is really not that far. I got a long ways to go, but a lot of other people up and coming in the industry, they look up to me, and I'm very receptive to try to help anybody, steer them in the right way if they want to hear my input about it, just to try to save people a lot of trouble because I've done a lot of things incorrect. And, everybody thinks it's going to be a short journey for them, but it's not. When a seasoned actor tells a new person that it is a marathon, not a sprint, that's the truth. It is the facts, man.
Oh,
And
well, there you go.
yeah, so that's the long version of how I got into this mess.
That was a perfect version. It's always good to hear that though, like that it's not an overnight thing. A lot of people, might get discouraged because they try to go into this and it doesn't happen overnight and they just leave without really giving it a chance. Um,
Well, and I'll tell you a large part of that is, and it will chew you up. I mean, it can mess with your mind. Um, but I am self-employed. I do own a business where I make my money from.
mhm.
I make money from acting. That's just a bonus.
Okay.
But as a business owner, I know it's an investment. You're always having to invest in yourself as an actor. That means as an actor, you've got to make yourself presentable. You've got to have proper headshots. You need footage. You need to work as much as you can, free, paid. It doesn't matter. When you're first getting started, you got to be
Yeah.
available. And so, I did all those things. I mean, there's been times I remember, for instance, one time I went to a production down in Columbus, Georgia, which is 2 hours south of here,
Mhm.
and I was going to be one of the main characters of the show, and sat in a dark warehouse that the guy almost caught on fire with his pyrotechnics
Oh my gosh.
for 16 hours. I didn't leave there until the sun was coming up the next day, and we never shot not one piece of footage. You know,
Wow. What?
yes, and that's the kind of crap you'll run into when you're first getting going, doing independent stuff. You're working with people that are unprofessional too. So you got to understand that. So it's a lot of sacrifices. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's not easy. A lot of people don't understand when you watch a show on Netflix or your favorite movie or whatever you go out and see, every little part that person in that film went through so much to be there, to be that cop that just says, "Hey, get on the ground," and that's all they do. That's all they say. You never see them again.
Hmm.
Man, there was 200, 300 people that auditioned for that one part, and then they went through a huge selection process, and the guy that actually booked it was just, I mean, it's just a miracle that he booked it. It's very difficult to get selected to do good paying work. To be a working actor, it's just a hard place to be because you're always chasing the next job, unfortunately. And it
Yeah.
gets, man, it's funny. You know, I know two actors. Well, I don't know them well, but I know them enough, and that one of them, he recently took his own life. Well, but they both have, but one of them recently took his own life just the other day, and he is an older gentleman, lived out in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
He's 80 years old, okay, but he's been an actor forever. I mean, since he was 20, and he's been in every show that if you're over the age of 30 that I could name that you would know, like Fantasy Island, uh, The Fall Guy,
Mhm.
Simon and Simon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He was in a lot of big stuff, but as he got older, things slowed down. The phone quit ringing, and he just, whatever reason, it finally got to him, and he literally killed himself. It's very sad.
That is sad. Yeah.
And then another actor here in Atlanta, this guy would have never in a million years thought he would do this to himself. This is a big guy. This guy was probably 7 feet tall. He used to be in some kind of wrestling federation, one of those guys, big,
Mhm.
scary. And as a new actor, he got booked on some cool stuff. His size and intimidating looks helped with that a lot.
Right.
Uh, he was in the movie Ride Along with what's that? the little comedian guy, and then Ice Cube. I forget his name, but anyways, he was the big biker guy that picked up the little comedian. I forget his name, man. God, terrible names, man. Anyways,
right.
big part, picks him up, says something to him, and throws him around, roughs him up, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done some other cool stuff, some voiceover stuff, and some other big stuff. But recently, about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, he took his own life.
Oh my gosh, that's just so sad.
It is sad, and unfortunately, the acting business, the entertainment business in general, it can mess with you, and what I mean by that is it can cause Great Depression, because you're constantly having to be chosen, you're having to be judged, you're having to be, you're having to be accepted all the time, and that's what you're hoping for, but at the same token, you've got to learn how to not think about that because it will eat you alive. So a lot of actors deal with that. Even your top talent that are making good money. I mean, it's all the same. For me, I mean, I'm very lucky and blessed to have my own business. I do take acting serious, don't get me wrong. And I've been in that position where I couldn't sleep. I was so excited about a role I knew I just had. And it turns out at the last second, I did not get it. When I knew I had, they've already called my agent. They've already blocked out my dates. They've already called me, and I've already met with the director and the producer. And I knew I had it. It was a big scene for a movie, Undercover Brother 2. And I played a big redneck bar owner, had a big scene with the main guy, big fight. It was going to be a really cool, funny, scene. And I knew I had it, and I didn't.
So you didn't. Oh wow.
You have to learn to deal with that. And that's tough, man. When you're really excited about something and then you try to use this as a career, man, that's tough. It's a big letdown, and I learned a lot from that happening to me. And I've had to learn to just, I hate to say it, but you got to have the attitude like you really just don't give a damn. I mean, it's like, whatever, man. You want to hire me? That's great. If you don't, okay. Well, that's great.
That's some good advice if I ever heard none.
Well, a lot of actors say it, but it's hard to put into motion, because I mean, these opportunities don't come often. I mean, not at that level. You get a lot of small stuff, but not like when those big moments that come. They don't come often enough. And there's a lot of people trying to be actors, and a lot of people, don't treat it like a business, and they expect it to happen overnight, and they're going to get discovered. Somebody's going to see their beautiful face, and they're just going to think like, oh my God, this is we're looking for you our whole lives.
You're right.
It does not work that way at all, and it just takes time. You have to work it, and you got to learn to deal with it, the toughness of it, which is what I just said, having to how to get told no 1,000 times just to hear one yes, and that is so.
Do you have any projects that you're working on or something that you? I know that there's probably NDAs and things like that, but do you have anything you want to promote? Something you want to get out there?
Well, right now I don't have anything. Well, I got a couple things coming up. I have a project called Vixens and Villains.
No,
That's
okay.
Project. It shoots out in Houston, Texas. It's with some people that I don't know. I've met them indirectly, and but I'm excited to work with them. They look like they have a pretty good cast, pretty good team. It's looking good, what I've seen so far. I have a supporting role. I'm like a head FBI cop guy that brings down the bad guys.
So that's a heck of a supporting role.
yeah, it's. I'm excited about it. It's going to be fun, and then there's another one, a series, a pilot with it we're about to shoot here in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And the first episode, I'm just voice only, but I'm the head of a crooked security operation. I'm the head guy.
Oh wow.
Corrupt. We do a lot of shady stuff. But the next episode is when I really come to light. That's when my character, really starts. Because I'm the leader of all the bad guys, and
Right.
We got to
That's
rough
cool.
people up. So yeah, we get to rough people up. But
That's
so that's what
cool.
right away. That's what I have going. And then I just shot a cool commercial for there's a cable company called Comcast. I don't know if
Yep.
they had. Okay.
Yep. I've heard of Comcast before.
All right. Well, I just did a commercial with them guys, which was cool because they shoot their own stuff. They don't source it out. They actually shoot their own commercials, which is very cool.
Yeah, that's
They,
awesome. That's really cool.
they had a commercial. They wanted somebody crazy, funny, and this was a neat opportunity because most of the time you have to audition for
Hmm.
stuff.
Right.
So I had a casting director reach out to me saying that the client for this commercial, which was Comcast, they were interested in me. And I was like, wow, that's cool. So I was like, well, send me the stuff. I'll audition, whatever, you know. And then about an hour later, she calls or messages me back. She says, never mind. They don't want to do that. They just want to hire you. I'm like,
Oh wow.
wow. Well, they saw my footage. I had a piece of a reel up. I don't know where they saw it at somewhere. I did another pilot for Sony PlayStation Network a couple of years ago, and I play this crazy golf cart sales dude, and I'm the comedy break of the episode of this pilot, and I'm really passionate about selling these damn golf carts, man. And I'm talking to the main character. You don't know that I'm talking about golf carts until we get to the very end of the scene, so it's kind of makes it even funnier, you know.
Yeah.
I'm breaking out every sales pitch known to man. You know, I'm like, like it was very crazy, and the way that the angle they shot it, and it made me look even crazier. So it was a very funny thing, and they saw that, and that's exactly what they wanted. It was that kind of guy. So, anyways, I go out to Athens, Georgia, which is out in UGA country. I don't know if you're familiar with the Georgia Bulldogs, but it's a big thing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
This client is for a car dealership that's based out there. And anyways, we shot a commercial for his car dealership, and I play this crazy, you know, idiotic. You know, I'm the guy that took 20, maybe 10 years to finish college, and every sorority house knew who I was. You know, I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool.
Easy. You know, I'm about to take flight with a bunch of balloons tied to a chair, and it's just over the top. I'm really insane, and I'm talking to my buddy, or it could be my brother, that's all put together, and he's all dressed nice, and and I'm all crazy, and so I had a lot of fun shooting that. So it's supposed to air during all the especially during the UGA games.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, so it should be coming out real soon. They didn't make it last weekend because I watched the Notre Dame, some of it, and I didn't see the commercial come on during the break. But
Okay. That's
it should be
definitely something to keep an eye out for.
yeah, it's just kind of cool. So people that know me locally, they'll see me and they'll all get a good laugh out of it, But stuff like that's fun to get, and I like playing that crazy, goofy dude, and
Well,
which is
that's the beauty of today's day and age. Is as soon as that thing comes on, 5 minutes later, it'll be all over the internet. So.
oh yeah, it should if it comes together right. I saw the playback and what they kept already. And
Hmm.
it is funny, man. It's crazy. So I hope it's well received, and some of the quality is good. I hadn't seen all the cutaways and how they're going to sync all that up, but yeah, man. I mean, it'd be a fun little spot, and just hope it gets attention, and then maybe somebody else down the road. Comcast told me they really like me. They love what I did for them, and they said that they're keeping me as one of their preferred actors, and
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
yeah, that's the kind of work that's awesome as an actor is that they're going to call you. You don't even need to audition. They know they already want you. So
Right, and they know what you can do, so
mhm.
that's perfect.
Yeah, man. And then
Cool.
recently I did something else kind of neat a week or two ago, um, which was I had another actor friend of mine refer me to this. He just stays very busy. He lives up in South Carolina. He does a lot of commercial work, which is kind of odd because he looks kind of like a bad guy. Like he would make a good biker.
Oh, okay.
He kind of like has sleeve tattoos on his arms.
Yeah.
anyways, he referred me to to send some pictures to him for a modeling shoot, and I was like, okay, we paid good money, so I was like, all right, sure, man. And they wanted me to do it, and it wound up being the guys you've heard of. Have you ever heard of Gorilla Grip gloves or Grease Monkey gloves? They sell them in all the Home Depots.
Yeah, I've
So
heard of those before.
yeah, so it was for them. So we're
Oh,
modeling.
wow.
We're looking like
Nice.
mechanics with the gloves on. I'm cleaning. I'm the guy that's cleaning the Ferrari, and then he's the one under like the car, looking like a real. I'm like the weekend well-to-do, cleaned up guy that would use the gloves. He's the rough guy that's the professional mechanic guy, you know.
Right, right.
So they did a lot of shooting and stuff like that. So who knows what they'll do with that, and we'll see where it goes. But
That's
so
amazing, though.
yeah, I mean, you just never know. Just being an actor, something like as long as you stay with it, And I've had some dry spells where nothing's happening,
Right.
and everybody goes through that. So you just got to stay the course and keep applying yourself and you treat it like a business, and be professional, and neat things will happen. We're talking about all the good things. We could talk about the bad, but there's no point in it. It doesn't
Right.
matter.
Yep.
But I've heard, man, I could go back and look at the submissions where I've submitted myself to projects and didn't even get an audition, or the auditions that I've actually gotten for some that were very good auditions through my agency as a series regular on an upcoming big show that's going to be on Netflix. Another one for really good roles on MacGyver. A lot of other stuff that are big characters that I did get the audition for, but I didn't book it. So it's just part of life, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll happen one day. When it does, that's great. But these little things in between, doing commercials and pilots and whatever you can do.
Yeah. Got to keep going. Got to keep building that resume.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, we have reached the end of the show. I try to keep them about 30 minutes. So what I would like to do at the very end here is kind of let you go ahead and let anybody know how you would prefer, like if you want people to contact you. If you don't want people to contact you, you don't have to say anything at all, but you can kind of throw out there where people can see more of Eric Morris.
Yeah, I mean, the number one place to keep up with some of the projects that I'm doing, especially for film, is just to go to IMDb. It's International Movie Database, and you can search for my full name, which is my actor's name, which is Eric James Morris. That's the best way to find some projects that I've done in the past and ones that I have coming up. You won't see my commercials or all the other stuff. It's pretty much just film or series type of episodics. You'll see that kind of stuff on there.
Cool.
You can also come to my Facebook. I have a professional page I don't use much, but it's named Eric James Morris. You can come to my personal page if you like. It's just Eric Morris and then the number 2. And, send me a friend's request. I think I still have some space on my list, and it's always good to, connect with good people. And
Yeah.
I surround myself with good folk, like good energy. So Instagram, I post a lot of personal stuff. I do cycling and running and stuff like that. So I'll post stuff about that. But you can find me there. It's just Eric James Morris, all one word.
All right.
Those are 3 best places to find me, man. And if you're ever in Atlanta, you got nothing better to do, send me a message. We'll get some coffee.
There you go. Well, Mr. Morris, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you. You're a really nice guy. I've had a really great interview hearing your stories and your advice. I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Breaking the Fourth Wall. Thank you for another successful episode. And stick around. We got another one coming out next Monday. Thank you, and see you all later.